Hello everyone, this is A32 back again with a look at what is new and upcoming in the world of cards this week. Let's start off with Kickstarter. There's not too much going on this week, fortunately, for a change. But let's see what's going on here on Kickstarter first. Let's go to newest, see what's new. And, aha, Endless Time. Playing cards by Alexander Feldman. Alexander. I've actually seen this on probably Instagram. I know I've seen it on INKSTER as well. 39% funded, 28 days to go. I don't know at this rate if it's going to fund. Who knows, really. To be printed by Carter Moonday. Reasonable goal. This guy's a collector, started collecting back in 2012. He's backed 17 projects himself. £9 for one deck. The big pricing Canadian, but it's reasonable, I suppose. It's got an interesting back design, which has an hourglass and the infinity symbol kind of intertwined. It's kind of simple. You got an hourglass and the jokers as well. Interesting pips. Pretty cool. Pretty aces. And nice, kind of reimagined, recolored Carter Moonday court cards. Those custom pips. Pretty nice pips. I guess the pips are supposed to kind of look like an hourglass. And the infinity or the infinity symbol. 1,000 decks to be produced. Good stock and finish. You know, it's a decent deck. Oh, I don't know. What does it say on the back design? It says something on the back. Something in Latin. Fugit. Southern Tempest. You know, it's an alright deck. It's a nice color. We'll see what happens with it. One I might check out later on. Then we got The Seal by Seal. Is this the singer? Because I don't think that it is. Not that he's been relevant for about 20 years. As far as I know, he hasn't been relevant in 20 years. Yeah. Very interesting artwork. Kind of goofy and cartoony. The indexes are in the wrong corners for at least some of the cards, at least from the looks of it. It is funded. It had a very low goal of $672 Canadian, which is like what, $500 US. It's a deck for magicians and cardists. No, it is not. Magicians will not use a deck like this because it's too goofy and cartoony, and it's too hard to identify, you know, the cards. Also, the index is nowhere near the corner. Also, some of the cards have the index on one side, some of them have the index on the other side, which just is a nightmare for using it for any kind of magical purposes. And then I don't think cardists would be interested in this either. And at that kind of a goal, what quality are you printing with? HK Playing Card Company. In a modified size 7 stack, 310 GSM stock. I don't know. It's a crust stock, apparently. It's a horrible back design, by the way. I don't know what cardist or magician would be interested in a deck like this. None that I'm aware of. I mean, look at these indexes. They're all over the place. Some are on one side, some on the other. It's just not a usable deck or a functional deck for anything like that. The indexes nowhere near the corners, especially on the court cards. It's just not good, in my opinion. Don't know anything about HK Playing Card Company. I don't think the quality is going to be good at all. I'm going to close this window here. There you go. Moving on to something hopefully better. Crop Snow More 2 limited edition playing cards. What was Crop Snow More 1? I never saw it before. By Hong Xiaona. It is funded somehow, 37 days to go. I'm curious, obviously, as to what the hell this looks like. It wasn't so damn slow. We might actually find out this century. And this is a new computer, mind you. Come on, open up. Why is it not opening? Just frozen. Why is it frozen? Come on. Come on. I'm not asking that much of this damn computer. It's not a good advertisement for Lenovo computers, by the way. Ah, God. Alright, so here we are. Crops number 2, limited edition playing cards. Obviously crop circle themed. It's got an unnecessary one-way back design with these little circles on the one side. It's kind of hurts it a little bit. Obviously borderless, black. Why is she picking her nose in that thumbnail? At least that's what it looks like. 16 bucks Canadian for one deck. Absolutely not. Not for me. At least they've modified the faces. They did the pips with like crop circles. I think that's interesting, at the very least. Not very usable, I don't think. Interesting, fun jokers. Some informational cards. And then the court cards and aces just have a bunch of crop circles. It's an interesting deck. It's not one that I'm particularly interested in. I don't know anything about the number 1, project. They have a very mature experience to complete this project. You don't need to worry about anything. Moving away. Moving away. Next we have Capricorn, playing cards by Fig23, Swamp Decks. It's 31% funded, 27 days deal. This one may fund. Can't believe this Crops No More 2 is funded. I don't know, Swamp Decks, they've had some success and they've had some failures, so who knows which way this one's going to go. We'll look at this deck, though, and see what it is. It's a flipbook animation deck. They previously did one for flipbook animation, and they did not show the animation, at least not initially. Not that I saw. This one, who knows? It's an interesting back design. Interesting jokers. Very massive figure for the Joker. Kind of vintage inspired court cards. Definitely vintage inspired. It's like a mix of vintage and a mix of, current court cards. It's like the body of a current court card and the head of a vintage court card without the full body. Pretty interesting. It looks like each suit represents a different area. Europe and Middle East, Africa, Americas and islands. What islands exactly? And Asia. Nice number cards. I don't understand why they feel the need to put their logo in the corner of every card. It's really unnecessary. They do plan on printing it to USB-C, which is good. $4,500 US goal. Currently, they're at $1,400. Funded. It's an interesting deck. It's worth checking out, I think. Though 15 bucks US for one deck is pretty expensive. Though, there is free shipping worldwide. So that's a plus, in my opinion. It's definitely worth checking out. There's also, you can get one of the previous decks, Clockwork Empire City, from the most recent campaign. Not sure what that looks like. It's interesting, and it's going to be good quality. Whether or not it funds, though, remains a question. Fantasy Creatures playing cards by Andaway. A lot of people from Hong Kong looking to fund projects. Interesting, especially considering the current turmoil going on in Hong Kong. Let's see what this one looks like. It's got an interesting looking back design, at least. I think it's the back design, yes. Very samurai looking type back design, I suppose. No idea who's producing it, although I'm waiting for this to load up. Just bear with my computer a second. There you go. It's a very low goal of $1,344 Canadian. Currently, they're just under $200 Canadian, so slowly getting there. It says overstock card renovation plan. What does that mean? I have no idea what they mean by that. The early bird is $7 Canadian. That's a very good price. What is that, $4 US? Who knows how much shipping is, though. There's a bunch of species in the deck. 310 GSM casino card stock from Germany. Coated with oil 3 times, so it feels remarkably smooth. Aha. Okay, oil coated. That's interesting. Whatever that means. Interesting artwork on the court cards and everything. Just all sorts of animals and creatures. And the aces. It's a very interesting looking deck. Not sure it's necessarily my cup of tea, but I had no major complaints. It seems pretty well done. I'm not sure what the back design's supposed to be. Like a bunch of creatures, maybe. I have questions about the stock and finish, particularly the finish, and who's printing it. But, you know, it's interesting at the very least. And it's not bad. Next, we have the Phoenix and Birds playing cards by Adam C. 8% funded, 25 days to go. Chances of funding not looking too good at this rate. Eesh. Alright, well, at least the back design is mirror imaged. And it's interesting, it's got a cross going through it. Looks like one deck has red and blue faces to match the red and blue on the backs, and the other one has green faces to match the green on the backs. How interesting. I don't know why there's a black border on these backs. That seems, well, I guess it kind of makes sense with the faces having color to them. But maybe this is just, I don't know, make it borderless. Full bleed, you know. So that matches the faces better. The aces seem to have, obviously, the dragons and the phoenixes. The birds and the phoenixes. Cerulean blue and crimson red. Basically standard, slightly recolored court cards, at least on the blue. The other ones are just black. They look like they've been shrunk a little bit. Standard pips. Obviously, they've modified. They're all one way, as you can see. And they change in size depending on how many are on there. Less pips, bigger, as you can see with the 2 hearts. The aces are the only things that they've really customized. And this one's got some more color to the courts. I don't know. I don't know how I feel about these decks. I'm not really feeling them. I don't know who's producing them. Why so many people put, you know, projects on Kickstarter and they're like, they don't give you information on who's producing them. Poker size low, and yeah. Moving on. Next, we have the Palms Oracle Divination cards by Stuart Palm. Hence the name Palms. It's 6% funded, 25 days to go. No way Stuart Palm is from Hong Kong. At least that's not his real name. It can't be Janet. I don't know. I'm curious about that, actually. Interesting. The faces all have artwork on them. He's from Florida, so why is this being funded in Hong Kong currency? Also, that's a massive goal, $23,500 Canadian. That's what, 18,000 bucks US, somewhere around that range. 18, 19, 20,000 bucks US. That's a massive goal And in my opinion, I don't think it's going to fund based on that massive goal. Here's some kind of a hypnotist performer and father, originally from Florida. Okay, my bad, originally from Florida. Maybe he's not there anymore. I'll take back what I said about his name. 43 bucks Canadian for this deck. Absolutely no chance it's going to fund with the deck at that price. Sure, maybe if it was a regular tarot deck, but a poker-sized oracle deck, I don't think people are going to want to spend 43 bucks for that. The back design is, it's okay. Not sure who's producing it. I don't know if it says. Wow. For $9,000 US, he will deliver the deck to you personally. Who in their right mind is going to spend $9,000 on a deck? Maybe if it was David Copperfield delivering it to you personally. Maybe. Or someone like that. But Stuart Palm? I've never heard of him before. I'm not going to give him $9,000 for him to come and deliver a deck to me. That's just absurd. 1,000 decks will be numbered and signed, the first 1,000 decks. So he's planning to produce more than that, maybe. Metallic inks, cold foil apparently, stretch goal for cold foil at $31,000. If he gets $22,000, he will print a second run of 1,000 cards with metallic inks. Interesting. Okay, well here it says 32 bucks US for one deck, 45 bucks US for two. I guess that is 43 bucks Canadian, so still really freaking expensive. Still no information that I can find that says who's producing it. That's still way too much money. Yeah. Hold 1,988 out of 2,000 left. If he's only printing 1,000, why is there 2,000 available individually? That doesn't add up. Also, I guess his stretch goals are, yeah, are fine. It's not gonna fund. It's just ridiculously overpriced. Let's see if we can move on to the next projects. Please. Beer cards. I think the rest we've seen before. Yes, the Master Series Demon playing cards. Manlords is well funded. 6 days to go. People just love throwing money at him. Oink Oink playing cards by Carbon Creations Card Company is 67% funded. Somehow, with 21 days to go. I don't understand some people. Cosmic Ink by Emma Hemstreet, I believe that is a regular deck. Is 2% funded, 51 days to go. Not a chance in hell that funds. Bicycle Fantasy World by United Playing Cards, 39% funded, 5 days to go. Barring a Miracle, I don't think it's going to fund. The problem is it's bicycle branded, but it's not an actual deck of cards. It's more like just whatever. It's not an actual deck of cards. More just pictures and stuff. Terry Bombs by Patrick Collier, 9% funded, 19 days to go. It's not going to fund, in my opinion. Perhaps if he was selling for demographic to Middle East and terrorists, maybe they would be into it. But I don't think that they're into playing cards all that much. No offense. No offense to him regarding that deck, but I mean, it's a bomb thing deck. What can you say? The one Portland edition by MPC, which I think finally has kickstarted wheels personally. It is well funded, 25 days to go. And I say that because it's already produced as far as I can tell, and you're not supposed to be selling something that's already produced. Barajas Españolas de Autor by Hernan Pitarch Tuseda is 0% funded, 18 days to go. It's not going to fund, unfortunately. Moving on, there's a display rack by Artisan Presents, aka TZC. It is funded, 64 hours to go. We'll not talk about Dado because really it's not a standard deck of cards. It has no suits. Hana Black by Hana Fubuki, 14% funded, 17 days to go. It's not going to fund. I did send him a message. I don't recall if he responded or not. Just because basically the name is a ripoff of Steve Minty deck and it's not usable in any way, in my opinion. Very unusable. Black Roses Hotel and Casino Cards by Daniel Snyder is well funded, 15 days to go. Bloodlines by Riffle Suffle is also well funded, 14 days to go. This project here by Gold Digital Studio, unnamed decks, or maybe they are named but they're not showing there, but it's a monogrammed lever case in a wooden box with poker cards. 23 bucks on the early bird pricing apparently, and then it also says 15 bucks. I don't understand that. What is what? But they're pretty horrible. It's 1% funded. 29 days still, no chance it's gonna fund. Just cancel it, dude. Red Force playing cards by Ouyang Wenwen is somehow funded, 22 days to go, despite the fact that it's not very forestry or red. Somehow it's funded. Amsterdam playing cards by Tricks and Beats, 20% funded, 10 days to go. It is not going to fund. I asked him a question via Instagram. Never got a response to my knowledge, not that I saw. Because this one boggles my mind, and it's not the only one I've seen do this. And that is, they have a project, they have a goal, you know, say 2,500 or whatever, 2,500 bucks. It doesn't fund. Then they relaunch with like double the goal without making any changes to the stock, to the quality of the cards, or to the artwork, and somehow they expect it's going to fund. Can somebody please answer me why anyone would do this? That's what they've done. They've relaunched the project with a much larger goal than they originally had, despite not being anywhere near funded previously, and they haven't made any changes. Like, I don't understand that. I can't wrap my head around that. How does that work? Like, how do you think of that? Oh, it didn't fund with a $2,500 goal. I'm going to relaunch it with a $5,000 goal. We'll see if it funds this time. What are you freaking thinking? It's stupid. That's just the dumbest notion I've ever heard of. And I see it. I've seen it multiple times now. It's just absolutely ridiculous. Moving on. Eclipse by Ethan Ricketts. 39% funded, 13 days to go. I do not think it's going to fund at this rate. The Kung Fu and Cards, One Man's Dream by Milia, is 78% funded, 18 days to go. It may fund, who knows, at this rate, whether or not it will make it. There's some Oracle and Tarot decks, which I'm not particularly concerned with. Walhalla by the INKSTER, printed by More Arts, is well funded, 50 hours to go. Crown Jewels, the green edition, or edition it says on Tuckcase, Emerald Green, by SVI Group, is funded 4 days to go, being printed by Cardamundi for the first time. Sakura Winter Edition by Francis Garcia, funded 3 days to go, just barely funded. I don't think it's going to get too much more in terms of funding. It's a one-way back design. I was not really feeling it personally. Forget about that letter deck I mentioned before. Moving on, the Lenormand Solitaire Oracle Double Deck set by Deluxe Cards is funded, 6 hours to go. I'm not sure who's really interested in that one, but there it is. Theology in Play by Malik and Michelle Perry. it says Capstone on the deck, so I'm assuming that's the name. It wasn't too bad from what I recall seeing last week. It is 9% funded, 24 days to go. Cubics by Astro Vi, or whatever, is somehow funded. I don't understand why people are interested in that, but it is funded, 3 days to go. Didn't have the biggest goal. The BTS BT21 playing cards by BT21 Lover, which is probably had legal issues in my opinion, is 28% funded, 62 hours to go. It is not going to fund anyway, so never mind the legal issues. And Convolution by Kyle is still 0% funded, 5 days to go. Why people don't cancel a project when it's doing so horribly, I don't know. And apparently there was another nudie deck here. Riley Muse 5 nude poker playing cards. Is that an actual person, Riley? Digital Art of Riley. Only 100. It funded by Marcel Hartzo because some people are disinterested in that stuff. Singularity Black also apparently funded. That's good for him. Nice, happy to see that. Century White funded. The Triptych Dance of Death decks funded. There's another nudie deck by the same person. Etc. etc. What else do we have to talk about? Let's go to lotusinhand.com. They previously had a deck of cards that was pretty nice that came out. They have a new one now, the Gradient playing cards. There you see it right there. And it's very underwhelming. It's just that flower on the back design. I don't even think that's overly original. In blue, there's a double backer, I believe in black, as you can see there, what I can recall. Apparently it was from it's apparently sold out, actually. The other one they did before was Ventus, which is actually pretty nice, as you can see, more cardistry-esque. Let's look at the Gradient, though. You'll probably find it elsewhere. But it's sold out. It came out like a day ago. It's already sold out. They look like blue backs. They're definitely blue backs. There's apparently some black in there. And these are the faces. A standard, some recoloring, no suit indexes, no suit indicators, like no pips in there, like they could have. And I'll zoom in. Why not? I'm not really digging it. The red ones, I feel like it's just way too much red. The black ones, way too much black. Like I prefer to see more details than that. I don't know. I'm not digging them. I'm definitely not interested in that. What else? House of Playing Cards has a new Super NOC V2 Bat Knock. Bat Knock. Coming out today at 1 p.m. Eastern. About an hour away from the recording of this video, just under an hour. If it was only 10 cents, that would be great, but it's not. No idea exactly what it's going to look like. Apparently, they've sold out on the cardistry on Nocs and the gold, the Fort Nocs, and also some of these, actually both of the NOC 3000 X1s, but they still have Cinnamon locks apparently somehow, and a bunch of other Nocs, as you can see. But I'm going to call BS on that, because how many times have we seen... Actually, no, it's not the Fort Knox that are sold out. The Fort Knox are on sale for a whole 20 bucks. 48 bucks off the regular price of 68 bucks, because he raises the price 2 bucks every week, because he has this crazy idea that that's going to add extra value. But it's not. You try to look for Fort Knox on eBay, I guarantee they're not going to be going for that price. We'll do that right now, actually. And I mean, you can tell. The fact that he's had to put it down to 20 bucks tells me that nobody's been buying them since he had them for 20 bucks, and that's the most people are willing to pay for them. By the way, I got these coming. I ordered these. I'll look at those right now. I'll show you those as well. Also, there's apparently a Maple Leaf playing card, Toronto Maple Leaf deck of cards printed by USB-C available. Decent price, $9 Canadian. Let's search for Fort Knox. Because why not? This video is already kind of short compared to usual, so I'll just talk about this very quickly. And I'll show you this while we wait for it to load. These are some Copenhagen European Poker Tour decks. I decided to get them because I didn't have any European Poker Tour decks that I can recall. I have World Poker Tour, World Series of Poker, but not European Poker Tour. And yeah, they're plastic. I also don't think I have any Copenhagen plastic decks, or not many. But I mean, it's a reasonable price, and it's a gorgeous back design in my opinion. Beautiful back design. I'll try to zoom in there. Beautiful back design, beautiful, nice tuck case. Considering the plastic decks, I think that's great. I think that looks beautiful, and I look forward to checking them out. And it might not be here for a few more weeks. It's from some seller in Europe, obviously. I ordered previously some bicycle prestige decks from them some time ago. We'll close that. What the hell is this? I don't want a Keg Steakhouse $150 gift card. What the hell happened here? How do we go from Fort Knox to that? I apologize. Let's try that again. There you go. Thank you. $26 Canadian, $32 Canadian, $39 Canadian. That's what they're selling for. I actually see some Super NOCs in there as well. And that's Canadian, and that's what people are trying to sell them. $63 Canadian is ridiculous. Two people are watching that apparently. But the thing is, you see people advertising them for these ridiculous prices. $75 Canadian, that's ridiculous. You see people advertising them for these prices. You don't see them being sold. I don't think people are buying them at those prices. And why would you when you can get them for $20 from House of Playing Cards, whatever the hell you want, basically. Let's see what else we have. Couple minor things. Let's go to Default on Magic. One minor thing I wanted to mention here, even though it's not coming out, I guess, for a while yet. Catalog. Actually, let's check out the new items very quickly for September. And there's nothing. Nothing that's overly new or exciting. Coming soon is why I saw something worth mentioning, in my opinion. And that is, previously, oh yeah, I like that you can buy this duck bucket. This is made famous, for me anyways, made famous by David Copperfield, who I mentioned earlier, where a duck appears from an empty bucket. Because why not? But the thing I thought was worth mentioning here, for one, look at this. Apparently, Parlor will be here October 10th, at least on their site. But is this Supreme Line Invisible Decks? A while back, they released the Supreme Line decks, which are basically their version of the thin crust decks, the Elite Edition decks from Penguin Magic, kind of their version. Thin crust bicycle stock decks, which I have a review on. They now have invisible deck versions of that coming, apparently, by October. So we'll see. In case anyone's interested, I'm not going to get them. Playingcarddex.com very quickly. I'm not sure there's anything particularly new there to talk about. Although they do have the Ellen Be Kind playing cards, which is pissing me off because I paid more for them on eBay way back when they first came out because I wasn't sure they'd ever be that easily available. But now C's selling them. Playing card Dex is selling them. They're on eBay, and you know, it is what it is. Then there's that stupid deck of cards from Illusionist, which just says deck of cards in the corner of the backs, and then it tells you in writing the valued suit in the corner on the faces, with nothing else on the backs or the faces. It's really dumb. Silverbacks, it's a bit pricey, in my opinion. Dice Throne, I might have looked at those before. Gen Con, I mentioned last week, available from Albino Dragon. They're available here as well, very reasonable price. Sita Gemini, which I really had no interest in getting, but there they are, if you're interested. And Surrealism, bicycle playing cards from Riffle Shuffle, which I'm waiting to see if Murphy's gets. Dice, they misspelled Dice Throne. Dice Throne. No, that's not. It's throne, like, you know, King's Throne, not throne. That's a funny misspelling. I was never interested in these. I believe these were before on eBay. Not eBay, Kickstarter, I think. Might have mentioned in there. I mean, the number cards are okay. The court cards, they're cartoony, they're comic booky. If you're interested in them, they're obviously Game of Thrones inspired or based. I believe that's what it is. I could be wrong. Okay, no, never mind. It has nothing to do with that. It's from the Dice Throne tabletop game. Printed by USB-C, blah, blah. Not interested in it, personally. Bicycle Surrealism, which is kind of a weird one. It's one, and I'll probably get if Murphy's gets them at some point in time. They're pretty interesting looking, as you can see, pretty bizarre. Artwork, very surrealist. That's interesting. And anything else I've kind of mentioned? Implicit V2. I'm getting from Murphy's Magic. Not particularly a fan of the faces on these ones, as you can see in my review of the original version. But I figured I got the first one, I might as well get the second one. This one has a very nice foil on the faces and the backs, or at least the backs. The faces, yeah, there's foil on the backs, which is very nice. Rainbow type foil. But I didn't like the faces because the indexes are different from the courts to the aces and number cards, as you can see. And just never really cared much for those court cards. It just feels like there's a bit too much detail. Sometimes less is more for me. But yeah, I just don't like, especially how the indexes are different. And I mentioned that to them, and that's something that we're going to rectify in the future, I believe. It's just, it's better for using them for playing games or for Magic if everything is nice and consistent on the indexes. And then you see the foil on the backs, very nice. And that's that. Let's go to Murphy's Magic very quickly. There's a couple of things to note there. Oh no, I'm not subscribed to emails. How unfortunate, because I don't get enough emails as is. Just bear with me a second here. The video's getting a bit longer now than I would have liked, but it is what it is. Oh, there's something new already. Fluid. I don't think I'm interested in that one, but we'll look at that. Look at that. Look at that. Look at that. They got the Jet Setter. They got the Lollipop, which I decided not to get personally. Myself, just not a huge fan. Although I get it, I don't know. They do got the Blue Ribbon playing cards. which I got some time ago. I was previously on Kickstarter sometime earlier this year, and they're very nice. I do like the blue ribbon playing cards. Lots of others we've looked at before. A few new things here that are worth mentioning. First of all, let's check out Fluid 2019 edition. It might take a minute to load, unfortunately. There we go. You know what? It might be worth checking out, I'm not sure. By Card Cuts. It's a very interesting cardistry friendly back design. Mirror image. Interesting aces, and then the court cards. They're very fluidy. I guess you can say they're interesting. It's like they're melting. Oh, I'm melting. Only 2,988 printed. Only. Wow. Limited edition. Designed by Adrian Valenzuela. Oh, that doesn't surprise me because it looks kind of similar, the court cards, to another deck he designed, the Series B from Riffle Shuffle. He designed those as well. It's kind of similar. Speaking of which, of course, they had the Squeezers V2 decks that came out earlier this week. Apparently, these are not coming until September the 8th, which is today. So, it should be available on their website today. And then there's this, Winnipeg 310 Slimline playing cards in red. They do show a blue, so I suspect eventually a blue will be made available. Murphy's, obviously, being a wholesaler, means that these will be available in most websites, and they are available on some websites already. And these are a new, slimmer version, thinner version of their stock. Obviously, people love the B9, true linen B9 finish from the original 310s, but many were saying it's a bit too thick. So they decided to create these thinner ones. Now, apparently it's 5 to 6 cards thinner than the true linen B9 finish. What I'm curious about is whether or not this is the same as the Lucen's supposedly exclusive E7 pressed stock. That's what I would like to know, because I assume it is the new slimline stock. I will be getting this one, of course. Eventually, hopefully, the blue one will be available, and I will get that one as well. I don't understand why not make both available at the same time. Clearly, they've both been produced, so I don't get that. But, wow. $2.50 for that deck, for me anyways. $4 retail, it's still a good price. Definitely worth checking out, and I look forward to checking it out soon. And then there's this one, which I got weeks ago, thanks to Murphy's Magic for sending it my way again. It is the Koi V2 by Byron Lang. Byron Lang was a magician. The first edition one is not available. He, I guess, self-funded that one for his own use. It's red in color. This one, from the best I can tell, this back is foil from what I've seen personally in my experience handling it. With no foil on the tuck, which I thought was a little bit disappointing. I can't recall if I reviewed that one or not. If not, I will review it soon. And again, thanks to Murphy's for sending that my way. And then there's this, Malone playing cards, which looks very nice. Nice tuck case. I don't know if there's any embossing or anything to it. Doesn't say. But there's a nod to the 654 Club, which is the previous deck he did. Right there on the front says 654 Club quality. A nice insignia BM of his logo, I guess. High quality finish, it says. Very nice cards. You see the bat design. Simple, classic looking. The jokers are him and his wife. And actually, they're both on the Joker. Very fitting. Nice ace of spades. And then the court cards, there's some customization, at least the kings. The kings are friends and mentors of him. including Lee Wayne. Who I'm not familiar with most of these guys. Lee Wayne, Steve Forte, Bob Stencil. Not familiar with them. Never heard of them before that I can recall. But Ed Marlowe, of course, is pretty famous and is big inspiration to him. I'm not sure which one is Ed Marlowe, unfortunately. Um, but yeah, it's a very nice looking deck. Should be available in most card shops since Murphy's Magic is making them available. Apparently, these were originally available only through his lectures or events. I guess he didn't sell very many. And Murphy's apparently raided his personal collection and are making them available. So thank you, Murphy's. Yeah, very nice. Who knows? Maybe if I'm lucky, they will gift this one to me. We'll see. Anyways, that is it this week, as far as I can tell. The new stuff with the World playing cards, and for upcoming stuff. That is that. Comment, rate, subscribe. Let me know what you think. I know it's a long video. If you're still watching, thank you. And we'll see you next time more. Thanks for watching.